Hey guys, before I start the podcast, a quick introduction. My name is Varnit and I'm the founder of Pet Excel Marketing. Pet Excel Marketing is a marketing agency that specifically works with pet businesses. Over the years, we have worked with pet food brand, pet relocation businesses, pet SaaS companies, pet clothing brand, cat food businesses, dog grooming services, and many other product and service-based pet businesses globally. Our services includes everything from creating graphics to running your ad campaign. Not only that, we have built amazing websites and apps for pet businesses. So if you have a pet business and would like us to help grow it, click on the first link in the description to book a call with our team. Now enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pet Brand Podcast. I'm your host Varnit, and today we have an incredibly special guest joining us, Sasha Riess, a true expert in the world of canine care. With over 30 years of experience, Sasha has built a reputation as a human canine interaction specialist, a groomer, judge, educator, and the founder of Pure Love and Harmony. His unique approach to dog care, blending communication, nutrition, and behavioral science has transformed how we understand and care for our pets. Whether you are a seasoned pet parent or just starting out, Sasha's insight are sure to resonate with anyone passionate about building a deeper, more meaningful bond with their dog. In today's episode, we will dive deep into Sasha's journey, the philosophy behind Pure Love and Harmony, and his expert advice on holistic dog care. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the world of canine care with one of the best in the industry, Sasha Riess. Sasha, thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Thank you so much for your wonderful introduction and invitation to this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm already enjoying it. Thank you.
great. That's a great thing. Yeah, so let's get started from the beginning. Like every journey begins somewhere, right? So, like Sasha, could you share the first, like, what first inspired you to pursue a career in the dog care industry?
So when I was, it's already like a journey from the childhood. You know, we all obviously we all have like a story that led us first to the love of dogs, and then somehow we find a way that I would love to work much more with an animal than with the people. So veterinarian science was somehow like something that I pursued. Like that was my dream, you know, to become a veterinarian. And then for my mom questioned that because I was like always like a child on the side of everything, right? And she didn't know like, will I be able actually to handle the blood and the what actually goes behind the, caring for dogs from that angle.
Hmm.
So I had a privilege that she introduced me to one of the veterinarians in Novi Sad, Serbia, my hometown, and he welcomed me with the open arms just when I was 15 years old. So I went to do this how you say that like an internship in a veterinarian clinic
Yeah, yeah.
even before I entered the veterinarian high school. So that was something that I wanted to enroll. And I was like amazed with what's going on. I loved veterinarian science. I enjoyed helping animals from that end. But also I find myself in that, very soon I become very rigid on how you do things, how you pursue things. Okay, castration, sterilization,
Yeah.
euthanasia, all
Hmm.
kind of those things were just become normal to me.
Hmm.
And then later on, when I enrolled at veterinary university, I actually started to explore much deeper background of how we actually learn about this science.
Hmm.
And when industrial farming of animals got in place, where I just I couldn't kind of grasp that point that this is how the animals should be treated in order for them to become a cheap meal for the human consumption.
Yeah.
And then that's something that actually pushed me away from the veterinarian science, and I withdraw from my college. So I didn't finish veterinarian university.
Hmm.
And on the end, but the grooming was always something that I was doing because I was at the vet clinic and a lot of people were asking to, can you groom my dog? And my dog doesn't love to be groomed and no
Hmm.
groomer want to have this dog. So I
Yeah.
actually learned about the grooming as a possibility to in this human canine interaction world, and
Hmm.
I find it much more to my heart, much that fit much more my personality. So I was 16 years old when I enrolled actually a grooming academy in Budapest. So I was just,
Uh-huh.
bumping here and there. So I wanted to give a clue why I didn't finish a veterinarian science and why that's something that I didn't pursue as my life. But on the other hand, my hobby at that end became my strong passion. So
Hmm.
that's actually the fast forward through this intermingling of how veterinarian science led me to the grooming and why grooming and not veterinarian science today.
Hmm. Hmm. And then, like, when did you founded like the Pure Love and Harmony? When did that happen?
Pure Love and Harmony actually founded recently, I must say, because I was not aware about like as a groomer, I didn't know actually how much I know and how much my students know and how what we actually know in order to work with a dog
Yeah.
as a groomer, right?
Hmm.
Um, there is a lot of background knowledge that oftentimes remains unseen. It's not
Yeah.
something that you kind
Hmm.
of often understand that someone that's clipping a coat of the dog knows such a lot about the dog.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
what I understood also in part of my career, I was a professional dog handler because, I was grooming dogs for the shows and then I would hand them to the clients and the clients would destroy the everything I did with the leash because they didn't know how to present the dog properly.
Yeah.
So I said, okay,
Uh-huh.
let me do the whole job. Let me do the whole thing. So learning all of those bits and pieces about how this industry is actually combined holistically when you approach a dog care from the different angles,
Yeah.
you get this all-encompassing understanding of what a dog's needs are. And the Pure Love and Harmony actually is on the forefront. A lot of people are, dealing with the shelter dogs, dealing with abandoned dogs. We want to help
Mm.
shelter dogs get.
Every
So
dog
the
has its
Pure,
own history.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But what
Mm-hmm.
what I created, the Pure Love and Harmony, is before the shelter. So the
Mm-hmm.
dogs not to get to the shelter. And then when we did a big research about why the people abandon their dogs and how this knowledge that I have can serve a possibility of the people not abandoning their dogs, you
Mm-hmm.
would learn that there is a behavior problems that people just cannot deal with anymore and they just can't stand this behavioral issue going in a way of them enjoying the dog, and
Mm-hmm.
they said, I'm sorry but I can't deal with this, it hurts my life, hurts my family, it's time to let them go. The
Mm-hmm.
nutrition allergies and everything that's nutrition
Yeah.
related
Mm-hmm.
problems are something else that actually hurts the dog relationship and the human dog relationship, and on the end it's a coat care because the people just don't know how to care about the coat, and they are sad that this is what you need to do: bait your dog once a year, two times a year, once in 6 months or something like that, and then
Mm-hmm.
your house become a mess. So
Yeah.
all of those three elements, like a behavior, nutrition, and a coat care, are
Mm.
the I cannot say this is more important than the other one. No, those are all well intermingled pieces of the canine care
Yeah.
and the well canine human interaction. And that is when I understood that actually I already have a knowledge that just need to be put in front of the people and let them use whatever part of this puzzle they need. And that is where we find it, the Pure Love and Harmony 2022, right? 2022,
Okay.
when I put all of these pieces to use to my clients and students, doggy parents, and professionals around the globe through
Mm.
this very easy, comprehensive, understanded formula of
Yeah.
what all you need to do in order to become responsible owner or responsible pet care enthusiasts that cares for
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
owners,
Mm-hmm.
for the
Definitely.
dogs of the owners, right? Like a coach.
Yep, 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 definitely. And like starting in, any industry comes up with its own set of challenges. So like what was your biggest hurdle when you first entered the pet industry and like how did you overcome it?
So let's talk about the biggest challenge of the Pure Love and Harmony. For example,
Uh-huh.
it's let's say the most youngest brand of everything I do. And if we touch base with everything, it's okay. But Pure Love and Harmony is something that faces its own challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But looks like it's the same challenge that Steve Jobs faced when he was introducing his little computer to the
Yeah.
general public.
Yeah.
People don't know that they need it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the most challenging thing.
It
Now
requires
we
a
want to have,
education.
Yes. So now we want to, if you have a behavioral problem, you go to the trainer. If you have something that you think a nutritionist should help you, then you go to the nutritionist. And if
Mm.
you need your coat cared for, you go to the groomer. And now
Mm.
you have three different professions with three different backgrounds, with
Yeah.
three different possibilities, and they don't in line. What the Pure Love and Harmony offers is a one spot
Mm.
that actually is a canine care expertise. Everything that the pet parent need to know, or
Mm.
anyone that want to become a professional coach to a pet parents, is what they need. And communication, like a behavior of the dog, nutrition, and a coat care, they cannot be separated.
Yeah.
It should be. And once you know all about these little pieces, then you are able to provide a holistic care to your dog or to your client's dog. And now you create a protocols. Either it's a behavior protocol,
Mm.
nutritional protocol, or a coat care protocol. And now what Pure Love and Harmony offers is this comprehensive, all-encompassing care at one spot. So the one-stop shop for the
Yeah.
pet parents and everyone that want to learn to be. So it's kind of we teach both. We teach pet parents, and usually pet parents, when they master the Pure Love and Harmony formula, then
Mm.
usually they become and inspired to become a pet parent coaches and instructors, and then they go forward and share that knowledge with their clients. Right? They first become a client, and then they become a coaches and instructors.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. Talking more about the philosophy and approach to canine care, like your emphasis on communication, nutrition, and coat care standouts. So, like, why are these factors so critical in fostering a harmonious relationship between a human and a dog?
For example, if you have a you would say, for example, my dog has an allergies, let's say. Okay. So what actually goes to understand that allergies is a very big gut problem. We don't have enough immune system, or it's very high active, or it's very low, and everything starts within the gut. So kind of like you would understand that the nutrition and the allergies are very nutritional issue, and now you need to find what your dog is not allergic at and what the dogs need to eat in order to, for example, overcome the allergies.
Mm-hmm.
But what is on the forefront of the allergies is a stress. So if the dog is in stress mode, for example, have a separation anxiety, pulling on
Yeah.
leash, peeing and pulling peeing and pooing all over the place, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, you would think that that's something that need to be done by the trainer, and then nutritionist or a vet gonna take care about the allergies. I find through my work that those two things are inseparable. You cannot separate stress from the allergy, because
Mm-hmm.
one is a cornerstone for the other to appear. So if we want to fix the allergies, we need to first reduce the stress. Oh, but my dog is not stressed. He follows me all over the place. He's happy when I come home. He barks a lot, but I don't know what to do about that. I tried shock collars. I tried this. I tried that. Nothing works. And now we need to understand like why the dog is having these separation anxiety symptoms that are actually not helping dog feel relieved and trusting their parents. So why the dog has these symptoms, and then that understanding that those symptoms are contributing to the low gut health, that those symptoms are actually building an anxiety. When
Mm-hmm.
we are in an anxious mode, like when we are in a chronic stress mode, what happens is actually that the glucose level in the blood is very high, the immune system is compressed, and there you had a wonderful foundation for anything else that we will be nutrition related to the nutrition kind of symptoms to express. If we
Mm-hmm.
do not find the holistic approach to this thing, we won't be able to solve we will, for example, we will find out that our dog is allergic to the chicken. Then we will stop giving them the chicken,
Yeah.
and then we think that the allergy is gone. But no, the
Mm-hmm.
allergy is still present, just the trigger for the allergy is not there.
Mm-hmm.
But what Pure Love and Harmony concept can give you is actually to implementing the Pure Love and Harmony formula lowers the stress, and the dogs can eat the chicken again, because chicken is not an issue. The stress is stress is an issue. And
Mm.
in this, you introduced me as a canine human communication expert, and that's where everything that the dogs today have as an issue undergoes problem with the communication with their owners. And that's by not understanding the canine language, they cannot talk
Yeah.
to us. And then we
Mm-hmm.
think that what we think they are telling us with their behavior is
Mm.
how much they love us, how much they kind are to us, how much they cannot live with us. Then we find that as a highest expression of the love and unconditional love. However, all of those are underlining as very calm, very stress factors and symptoms that the dogs show us on a daily basis. Happy
Mm.
dog and calm dog actually is a boring animal. They sleep all day. They play with you when you call them to play. They
Mm.
go into walk when you call them to go to walk. They come
Mm.
to eat when you call them to come to eat. And in between, they do nothing. I'm sorry, I did a very much
Okay, sure.
comprehensive study in India, like in the Hyderabad. Is that how
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say the
Hyderabad.
city?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hyderabad. It was like a peripheral part of the India where we did very like a village town, like a, I wouldn't say rural, but kind of like a where you have a people and an animal interacting without ownership, right? You
Mm.
probably maybe
Mm.
know about those. And then you
Mm.
would go to absorb those cities, and you would see the dogs laying down, like sleeping on the streets, doing nothing. If the dog's needs are met, there's
Mm.
no need for them to follow the owner, to go out to hunt. If everything that they need is met,
Yeah.
they just sleep.
Yeah.
So the biggest problem of today is this overhumanization of the dogs. And
Uh,
if I really want to fulfill the dog's needs, I
uh,
need to understand one answer to one question: who is a dog? What are the dog needs? And if
mm.
I meet their social needs through my interaction and communication, nutritional needs to the appropriate diet to the dog, and then coat care, there is no reason for anyone to leave a dog to the shelter, because those dogs and the humans are living pure love and harmony. And that is
Yeah.
actually what our mission
Wow.
actually.
Wow. Wow. Now you wrapped it all up in the last sentence. Like it's all about pure love and harmony.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's our goal. Is, life in pure love and harmony is
Mm.
deeply understanding and respecting the needs of the others. And
Yeah.
it's not me projecting my needs to a dog. Oh, he
Mm.
loves me, he's this, my baby, my angel, my child. It's like, no, no, no. It's a dog, their own unique species, with their own level of the consciousness, their own way of perceiving the world through their eyes, and their level of the decades and millions of years of evolution that they
Mm-hmm.
became who they are today. And this is the most common. The more we know about the dogs, the more specialists we have about specialists on this and specialists on that. And, just tighten the specialist niche as much as you can.
Mm.
We get away from this holisticness. Like my
Yeah.
grandmother was able to care about their dog much better than I can today with all of this knowledge, because everything is so specialized.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything is so niched. And if you are not in niche of knowing, then you don't know nothing. And
Yeah.
I think like the world is looking for the holistic approach to the world itself, to understand not only your specialty, but your specialty within the context of everything. And in
Mm.
order for you and anyone else to understand that, there is a deep need for that how can I say, introspection, in reflection within.
Mm.
It's what do I miss in my life?
Yeah.
So I project those traits to my dog.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a book about that. It's called About the Dogs and Awakening. It's who
Wow.
the dog is actually, but to us. Emotional
Uh,
entanglement.
uh-huh.
That's why I cannot see the dog as a dog, because I got emotionally entangled. And that's like an amazing, but we can, chat about that next time,
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
other time,
Yeah,
because
for
it's a.
sure, for sure. So like what do you think? What do you think are the most misunderstood aspect of canine behavior among dog owners?
That we project a lot of human traits to them. That
Mm.
actually, for example, to know the dog, we really need to know the wolf. and to
Mm-hmm.
know, to understand, because the wolf and the dog, they're actually the same
Yeah.
species. There
Yeah.
is no
Mm-hmm.
difference in that. If they, the basic etiological or biological kind of definition of the species would be, if they breed and can have like a offspring that can reproduce, it's the same species. And that's what happens in between dog and wolf. If you breed Chihuahua with the wolf, they're going to have a puppies that's going to be able to reproduce. So they are of the same species.
Mm.
And that's the interesting thing, is that the wolf, as with its own traits, was the first animal that the humans domesticated. It was not a cow, it was not a chicken, it was not a sheep, it was not nothing that the humans can actually use from the nature.
Yeah.
It was a wolf. The
Mm-hmm.
question becomes like, why wolf with all of those traits that we actually maybe hate, like
Mm.
aggression, all of that comes with it. How you can put yourself, like we put ourselves in the shoes of the people 10,000 years ago, and who came to an idea to, okay, let's domesticate this because they can help me do this and that. What
Yeah.
happened there is another phenomena, I think,
Mm.
and
Mm.
there is a part of the scientific journey that follows this direction. Actually, I follow theirs.
Mm-hmm.
It says that the wolf approached first, and then there was a transition period of a couple of thousands of years ago,
Yeah.
after which the dogs appear to be next to humans. And that creature, not the wolf, but this wolf into a dog creature, that self-adapted, self-domesticated animal,
Mm.
just were, and they call them the village dogs or the feral dogs. Those
Yeah.
dogs the humans took from nature and started breeding, creating the dogs we know today. But the first step towards humans were from wolves towards us. It was not other way around. And
Mm.
by knowing only that, we need to know that by default of the evolutionary rules, the dogs are always two steps ahead of us. So if we think that what we created and relationship we have within them is like with another human,
Yeah.
or my child, my baby, my fellow friend or parent,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be in a completely misunderstanding the relationship. I'm gonna project,
Yeah.
and the projection never come back good.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna lead to a stressful environment, and someone just can't handle it, and the other
Mm.
ones can't, or there is a limit until they can't. And then you would have some of the family members would say, you need to choose either me or the dog. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up dogs in a shelter. So I think like today we are that's what I'm thinking. It's not about the dog. What do we do to get dogs from the shelters out and things like, no, no, no. There are a lot of people who deal with that. We
Yeah.
are on the forefront before that. So we are
Mm.
before shelters. If we
Mm.
do our mission properly, the shelter wouldn't exist in this world.
Wow. Wow. And talking more about your training and behavior solutions. So, like you created tools like canine communication cards to bring the gap between dog and their owners, right? So, like, how do
Mhm.
these tools improve the understanding of canine behavior?
So actually, the canine communication cards are the shortcut through the to the Doggy Parent Academy. So in Doggy
Yeah.
Parent Academy, we teach context of the canine behavior, and usually when you would say training and everything, like you see, my school is called Dog School for People. That's a Pure Love and Harmony Dog School for People. It means like
Yeah.
we are teaching the world the perspective of the dog. This is what I
Okay.
need, and
Hmm.
this is what you need to provide me. And we are giving through our courses and programs and the coaching to doggy parents, whoever, we are
Hmm.
giving the context. So it's not I'm telling you what to do. It's a conclusion. Once I'm telling you the context in which you and your dog interact, the conclusion becomes, oh my God, this is what I need to do. So actually our clients is not the clients that want to train dog, sit, obey, do this, do that. It's kind of like, we don't train dogs. We
Okay.
train people, right? So
Yeah.
that's the very important part.
Hmm.
So when the people understand the context of the why my dog is pulling on a leash, how comes that actually you have a husky, that you have a chihuahua, you have a Great Dane, poodles, doodles, moodles, all of these things, everyone is pulling on a leash, everyone is barking on this, everyone is doing a lot of things that all the other breeds are doing as well. So must be something that's not breed related. It's a
Yeah.
human related. So
Yeah.
it's when we put all of these all of these questions in context, that's the very important part. You
Uh,
need to understand the context in which the dogs are doing such a things.
mm,
And then you will come up, almost like every single client or every single student, come with a conclusion of what is an outcome. How do I need to behave so the
mm,
reaction to my behavior that the dogs will give me will become something that's desirable, and the behavior of my dog that
mm,
I desire for them to do. So
mm.
if I don't want them to bark or to pull on a leash or to pee and poo in the house, what I need to do
Yeah.
from my end, so the reaction that I get from my dog
Mm.
will be desirable behavior.
Wow. Wow.
That's, and then the
So,
communication cards are just,
uh-huh.
a little, how can I say, reminder of and a little tool that you can, read. Okay, if my dog is pulling on a leash, this is what they're signaling. And if I
Okay.
want them not to pull on a leash, this is what I need to do in order to
Uh,
take that what they're doing. Because
uh,
when, for example, that leash pulling is connected to the walk ritual. It's not about husky pulling the sled, the snow in the helping us, get
uh-huh.
from the point A to point B. You put any dog on a harness, they're gonna pull. Any dog on a leash, they're going to pull if
Uh-huh.
they do not accept you as a leader,
Okay. Hmm.
because they want to be ahead of you. They want to
Yeah.
prevent the danger. They want to
Yeah.
be ahead of you, because when we take a dogs in a walk, it's not a walk for them. The context of the walk does not exist in the dog
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
It's not.
That's what made up by us, right? We are going on a walk.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of like we eat more than we need, and
Uh,
then we need to exercise extra so we can get rid of the calories extra that we don't need,
yeah,
or
yeah.
we become weight, and what all comes with that. In nature, the concept of overweight doesn't exist.
Hmm.
Because especially the dogs become overweight because of the because of everything that's kind of like our understanding of how much the dog, the free feeding and all kind of those things, because the dogs are very opportunistic eaters. So when
Yeah.
you take them on a leash, take them in a walk, they are going only to three places in their little mind. They can go there to hunt, to look for
Yeah.
the new sources of the food,
Yep.
to
Yep.
protect the territory,
Yep.
or to mark the territory. So this is ours.
Uh,
But since everyone else is doing the same, if your dog is in a leadership position
mm,
instead of you, they're gonna want to be in front of you
mm.
and to take you to hunt, to take you to mark the territory, to take you to protect the territory. And it's going
Yeah.
to be done by Chihuahua, by Great Dane, by any mixed breed, by
Yep.
any shelter dog, by anyone that's in a leadership position. And
Uh,
when I say leader, a lot of people are connected that with with aggression and alpha, and this, I'm the one and I need to be the one and you need to listen to me and things like that. No,
mm, mm.
those leader is not a bully. The bully is, ruling by fear, and we would say the tyrannist, and we would say the dictatorship or something like that. No, no, no. The leader is followed by choice.
Mm.
The leader is followed because they are the most intelligent, their most strength is in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you really have that power and that strength. You don't need to communicate it, right? You don't press it on the other people.
Mm,
You
mm.
can feel it. You have a CEOs that the people are just following without even paycheck, you know
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you don't need to do nothing. You believe in something that person has a vision, and he would come in office, and he would say, I'm sorry people, we need to overcome this diversity. We are in the middle of the struggle, and there is no paycheck for 3 months. Whoever want to leave. Who don't want to leave, let's pull this together, and we're gonna see the rainbow, reap the benefits of it. The real leader that goes with the passion and with the heart in that will be followed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the one that's bullying their, that's kind of sit here, go there, do this, come,
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
leash, pulling them. You can't stress that. You cannot
Uh,
do that. You cannot. Uh, we cannot control the dogs by force.
mm.
Everything that we do, like chains of like these collars and
Electric
those strong
collars
collars,
too. Mm.
whatever, e-collars, everything of
Mm.
that creates a bullying perspective to a
Yeah.
dog. And
Yeah.
what we are
Yeah.
teaching them is actually,
Mm.
this is how you solve the problem.
Mm.
That's how, when you have like a little child, when the child is bullied through the childhood, the way they express themselves later on in life would be bullying, right? Because they don't know other way to solve the problem,
Yeah.
right? And if we do that to our dogs, what we are, we are putting that dog to an to a pet to become an aggressive dog. Just question is when it's going to become, because the dog knows that if I want to solve the problem, I need to do what they did to me. So
Yeah.
look at how I become good by
Mm.
pulling, pressing, do this. So if I want to do something to someone else, that can be a child, that can be another dog, that can be an owner on its own.
Hmm.
It's not a question when,
Yeah.
if it's going to be just when and in what sense. And we have a lot of proof to this point. Is actually, unfortunately, the dog is number one animal in the planet that hurts the humans. If you do any statistic, it's not a lion, it's not a
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not a
Mm.
shark, it's not an elephant, it's a dog, because human and dog lives in such a close proximity that if
Hmm.
do not understand properly, that relationship leads to the conflict.
Yeah, yeah.
And the one who is responsible, it's always the one that's more conscious, and that would be a
Mm.
human, with no
Mm.
exception. I don't
Mm.
I don't kind of like have I do have an empathy and understanding, but everyone needs to take a responsibility. So it's not a blame, it's just taking a responsibility, that the way I understood my dog led for to him to become an aggressive.
Mm.
And what should I do? Just reverse the. We have a lot of stories about how the dogs from being aggressive turned into a puppies,
Yeah.
like
You must have a lot of testimonials of your clients.
yes, a lot. And that's kind of like, once the people understand the context in which they live with the dogs,
Mm.
then
Mm.
everything else becomes just an outcome of that understanding. And what we are teaching, it's again, it's not a rule, it's not nothing. You mentioned the communication cards, and they're just a tool to
Yeah.
remind of the context. If your dog does this, this is what they telling you to do, and this is what you need to do. And only 2 weeks. You literally need 2 weeks of persistence and
Wow.
2 weeks of it's not a hard work, it's actually become a joy, because immediately we change our way of interaction with the dog instantly react to that. And as
Mm.
an outcome of that, we get this desirable behavior that actually is a corner store. You ask me, like, how did I come from the point of being a groomer to all of this together? Because
Yeah.
if I needed to groom the dogs, I need to have them enjoy the grooming.
Mm.
So how would I let them enjoy, how would I lead them to enjoy the grooming if they hate to be groomed? Okay, I
Mm.
need to have some other skills rather than just chopping the coat of the dog to have them enjoy the grooming. Okay, so and then another thing, and now my dog is enjoying the grooming, so they love being groomed. So I train them, I talk to the, I led them to that process, be joyful. And now I don't have enough nice coat. Why? Because the poor nutrition. Okay, so if I really want to be a great groomer, I need to have a coat to work with. Now I
Yeah.
have a dog that behaves on the table, and
Uh-huh.
with the knowledge about the nutrition, I can
Yeah.
finally fulfill my purpose of shaping that dog's. That beauty is actually just radiation from within. It's kind of like it comes
Yeah.
from within, because
Yeah.
the dog is calm, not only calm on the table in the groomer, it's calm at home.
Mm.
Humans have another relationship with the dog. They learn how to, balancedly prepare appropriate meals, specific appropriate meal. And
Yeah.
those dogs that are nourished within radiate
Mm.
beauty outside. And then the groomers can just do a little bit of the coat
Mm-hmm.
care structure. That's
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Talking specifically about the yeah, sorry, the nutrition. So like, what do you think, like how poor nutrition like impacts the dog behavior? Like how does that happen?
That's always like a question, like what's older, chicken or the egg? That's kind of like, how is the
Mm.
nutrition impacts behavior or behavior impacts nutrition? Because
Mm.
if we are in a stress mode, and the stress mode is actually how do we react on our surrounding, right? Is this something that bothers me or not? And then will that happen if my nutrients are low, so my brain can't process? Because the brain
Mm-hmm.
cell function in the understanding the ratio and how the ratio of the potassium and the sodium is happening, and that's actually what's gonna take our signal through the brain. It's not some random signal that goes through the brain. It's very specific way of how potassium and sodium ions like interact in between, and that's how those ions create electrical tension that actually is that signal that goes through the brain.
Hmm.
So now, am I reacting to this environment because my for example, sodium ratio to a potassium ratio is not well, and that's
Hmm.
because of my poor nutrition? And
Yeah.
this is how do I express that? By being very triggered
Hmm.
by everything that
Hmm.
goes around me?
Hmm.
Or is my surrounding is actually triggered my inner world that actually is now preventing my brain to kind of like extracting nutrients from the food? That's the question. What I think like science doesn't have an answer yet. Like, what's older? Is it
Hmm.
nutrition that impacts behavior, or it's behavior that impacts nutrition? It's not a nutrition. You can always eat. We can eat like our dog can have the magnificent diet. Everything will be in place by the book,
Hmm.
yet suffer deficiencies because the body won't take it. The
Yeah.
body won't take it. Why?
Hmm.
Because, for example, maybe cortisol level is high. And when the cortisol level is high, the glucose in the blood is high, immune system is compressed. The immune system compression creates a very big pressure on where is the immune system stored? In the gut.
Yeah. Good.
Right? So if it's in the gut, now I need to have that gut compressed. So no matter how great, beautiful, probiotics my dog has there, if
Hmm.
I am the reason of their reaction and high cortisol in them, that they follow me around, pee and poo, pull on the everything of this that we talked about, name any symptom that people will call it, my dog need training in this, it's going to
Hmm.
be expression of the anxiety. You can
Yeah.
always call the trainer that can be using this technique or that technique or whatever technique
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
used,
Yeah.
and you're going to fix the problem of the leash pulling, you're going to fix the problem of
Hmm.
doing this, you're
Hmm.
going to fix the problem on doing that. But we didn't fix the underlying cause, that
Yeah.
anxiety. And anxiety, it's not about the dog, it's about me.
Hmm.
How did I behave? So the dog perception of my behavior is irresponsible leadership.
Hmm.
Right? And how do we get that? For example, a lot of dogs would be baby talked to.
Yeah.
Oh, how was it? What was going on? And that the dog is looking at you like it's not. They're not looking us as another like a wolf or a dog or
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
It's just the only world they know, and the only
Uh,
thing they know is who feeds them need to be a leader. And
yeah.
if I gonna baby talk to you,
Hmm.
it's you would expect from me that that's my way of behavior. So you would expect from me that I'm gonna be baby talk to everyone else, and you never know how everyone else might hurt me if I baby talk to lion or hyena or another
Yeah.
man that's
Yeah.
someone that's maybe you baby talk to someone, they punch you in the face. The dog immediately comes thinking like, what are you gonna eat tomorrow if this happens to you?
Yeah.
Don't baby talk me. It's not what a leader does. I want to
Yeah.
be sure that tomorrow is taken care of.
Wow. Amazing. It's like thinking, this is the first time that I'm hearing, it's like thinking the way dogs are, instead of like, putting the way that you think, instead of like just focusing on like, how does a dog think about these things, right?
That's what we are trying to do. The Pure Love and Harmony is completely focused on the dog's needs. And the
Hmm.
question that we can fulfill the needs of the dog once we understand what is a dog. And
Hmm.
we have you don't have a scientific consensus on what is a dog. The dog is this creature that no one's care about. You actually don't have like a science part of the science that would actually learn about the dogs. You have maybe veterinarians that are kind of like the ones that are leading the most are the veterinarians, because you
Hmm.
have this the small animal practice, right? So they would kind of like be the ones that should learn about the animals, the
Hmm.
dogs the
Hmm.
most. But
Hmm.
the problem with that, I always have this part of the indoctrination through the general college that you need to go through in order to become a
Yeah.
veterinarian. You need to learn about everything.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong about learning about the pigs and cows and the sheep
Hmm.
and chickens.
Hmm.
It's about how you're going to learn about them in the industrial setting of treating them and trying to fulfill the kind of like welfare on an animal in such a crates, in such a spaces, in this environment. So until you come to the point to become a veterinarian, you are already agreeing that this is the way how the human should treat animals.
Yeah.
And then why would your perception of the dogs be different than perception of the cow?
Yeah.
And then you have a places in the world where they are kind of like eating the dogs and cherishing the cows. And
Mm.
now we are kind of like, oh my God, like how they can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But if you
yeah,
put themselves in in their shoes, they
yeah,
would look at us and say how they can eat the cow or how they can eat the
yeah.
pigs.
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
the point of observing human dog interaction is completely on the other level. If you give this problem like a real how can I say real observation. For
Mm.
example, a dog is a creature lost in between humans and the animals because they are social animals, right? They need a social interaction. They need humans. Without humans, there wouldn't be dogs.
Mm.
But then how to blend those things to understand that they are not the same species?
Yeah.
And which, if you have, for example, zoologists like biology, is not observing the dogs because that's man-made. It's a kind of domesticated animal, so it's not, you wouldn't be find it in a nature. So as such, it shouldn't be evaluated, right?
Mm.
For all of these signs that are taking care about the cows and animals that we can use for the industrial production of the human food, the dogs is not a meal for the humans. So I say, why would we learn about them? So you have a really like a handful of the scientists that gave their life to
Yeah.
answering the question, what is a dog or who is a dog? Because
Mm.
only after we answer the question, who is the dog, we can know what the dog needs. And
Yeah.
then when we fulfill those needs, then
Mm.
we will be able to thrive in this interaction with them. And the pure
Mm.
love and harmony formula is like on the forefront of that. It's kind of like taking a humans, because if you understand, if when we talk, for example, this Doggy Parent Academy, and they said, like, I know everything I need to do, but I just can't. I'm
Yeah.
so soft on their eyes and the wagging tail and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Then we need to look at it deeper. Then we go a little, step deeper of how much the dog and me are in emotional entanglement and who and what I'm missing in my life.
Mm.
So the dog is representing that. It can be a
Yeah.
parent, it
The
can
dog
be
is
a
filling the
child.
gap.
And
Mm.
it's not a dog's purpose to do.
Yeah.
It's not fair to expect an animal to sacrifice their life for our needs. The
Yeah.
dogs will do that anyhow. Because when you are serving, when you are living in this environment and the setting of the group, in that mindset, the humans pretty much have the same embedded genes to that we are always wanting to belong. We
Yeah.
belong to a family, we belong
Mm.
to a school, to a
Mm.
community, to the club,
Yep,
to this, to
yep.
that. And if we are excluded, we feel very, very unworthy, we feel threatened, we feel unsafe, and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. So, and when it comes to animals that are group oriented animal, the survival of the group is always above the survival of the unique species, of the unique specimen of that group, member of the group.
Yeah.
So, for example, you can see that when you have those herds transferring themselves from one side of the river to another side of the river, and the river
Mm.
is packed with the crocodiles, they won't be, and they need to travel. They know the herd consciousness know that the babies, the ones that are not strong enough, the ones that
Mm.
are
Mm.
ill,
Mm.
they're gonna be eaten by the crocodiles.
Yep.
But if we do not move from one side of the river to another side of the river, we're gonna
Mm.
all starve to death. So it's kind of like there is a grass on. I'm talking now the herd mentality, but
Mhm.
it's also about the group, the survival of any single group. So the dog would oftentimes sacrifice themselves for our group survival. And
Oh.
that's something in which we need to understand that if we do not take a leadership and ownership of our responsibility,
Mm.
that's going to happen. And how we're going to see that, it's going to be like the dog's going to be ill from this or that, or it's going to be some
Mhm.
cancer or something. And we're going to all try to say that, oh, that's because of the genetic, that's because of the food, that's because of this, and that's because of that, and it was but it's always come down to this self-sacrifice of the dog to protect an animal, to protect an owner. And
Yeah.
I know maybe this might sound hard, but also on the other side, I also advocate for this responsibility of humans not to euthanize their dogs. No matter how hard it is in the last days of their life, how long that takes, it's our time to commit to their final time and parts of the life. Because you would often say, I took this dog from the shelter not to be euthanized.
Hmm.
And like 10 years later, I'm doing the same.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, what have I done? I gave him 10 years of beautiful life and now he's dying. Yeah. Now it's a time when we need to step in. It's oftentimes what the problem with the dying of our animals is
Hmm.
self-reflection of the fear of death. And it's not about the dog suffering, it's actually our suffering watching them suffer. But it's always when you are around, when you are sick, for example, or when I'm, for example, sick, and sometime I have some, I don't know, fever or whatever, and I look like very sick. Oftentimes I just need a peace and support, and the
Yeah.
other ones around me gonna panic. Oh my God, let's do this, let's go there, let's try to do this. No, just let me, let me go through my
Hmm.
experience with
Hmm.
dignity.
Hmm.
And when we allow dogs life first, that's when we do our part. And let's say we enforce pure love and harmony formula, communication in place, nutrition in place, coat care in place, no stress, no bodily kind of like a possibility for body collapse,
Hmm.
and nothing around the home is messy due to the proper coat care. You have a dog and a relationship with the humans that will thrive. And usually in the nature, the animal, when the time comes, they're gonna just, find a peaceful place in the home
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
overnight maybe just die, right? They
Hmm.
would
Hmm.
come oftentimes, they would come, they would say goodbye, they would say their farewell, and then they would find a peaceful corner in the home and just sleep, fell asleep. Oftentimes the people are not able to allow that to happen to their dogs. They would just, try to do everything to prolong the life as much as it's possible.
Yeah.
They always
Yeah.
to, to make the dogs feel guilty of going, right? You oftentimes would say that when we have someone we really care for. I
Hmm.
remember my grandmother when she was in hospital. She said, just please don't come. That was
Hmm.
her mindset. Some other would say, please come, I want to be by your side. She would say, I just want you to remember me the way I was.
Yeah.
And the moment we said, okay, she passed away. But she passed away with her dignity and with her way of understanding that this is my time to come and I want you to remember me the way, and that was her. Some other one was just, please be by my side and hold my hand,
Hmm.
so I'll be able to go. I'm afraid. And then my
Hmm.
other grandma, I was by her side when she passed away. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like, but what we are facing when the dogs are to come and to go, we feel this responsibility. Oh my God, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I didn't feed them properly. Maybe
Hmm.
this was wrong. All of this is my fault. No, don't go. And then all of these surgeries and everything. And then it's not enough for us to settle in a peace of letting the dogs go when it's right time for them. And that's again, like, we need to, in order, again, like, if we want to answer the question, should we euthanize our dogs? And that's a very controversial topic. And I talk about that a lot because I think, and I thank you for giving me this platform. Also, you didn't ask me about this. Somehow I got to
No, no,
talk
that's
about this as
amazing. I
well,
mean, yeah, sure.
because I think it's very important to spread the message about, do
Hmm.
we believe that the dog has a soul? Is the dog conscious animal? Does the dog has a soul? If answer on those questions become to be yes, and to every single doggy parent that you talk about, you can ask them, like, what mean consciousness? Means that I'm able to experience my environment and I do understand my place within it. So
Hmm.
I can experience emotions by being sad, happy, or angry, right? So that ability of feeling emotions is actually proof of my consciousness. If there is a consciousness, the question becomes like my this life experience. I do have a soul, and everyone that watches this us and is being a doggy parent would know that yes, and I would say the dogs has a soul.
Definitely. Yeah.
If they has a soul, they have a destiny.
Yeah.
If they have a destiny, and that destiny should be appreciated with dignity, we
Mm.
should, when the time comes of their suffering,
Mm.
it's an experience needed for soul to transition either to the heaven or to the next generation. This is not a place to discuss what happens after death, right? It's a place of that something happens,
Mm.
and
Mm.
it's another experience, and maybe this little time of suffering is a part of that journey. Why ruining it? Because
Yeah.
we lack strength to be
Mm.
by their side and help them transition in peace to the next part of the journey.
Mm.
We would just call it euthanasia because we don't want to call it I killed my dog,
Yeah. Mm.
right? I killed it because I was not able watching him suffer anymore.
Yeah.
I said, like, how would you, if we would transition this question, if to I let them have right to die with dignity,
Mm.
and then I don't know what is the path of their soul, and now is my time to support that little journey to heaven or to next life.
Mm.
And why I'm not able to do it? Because I'm busy,
Mm.
because I don't have time, because I'm scared. It's not
Mm.
an excuse.
Yeah.
It's a standard that shouldn't be there. And I advocate for that. Like, maybe they need us the most on the last part of their life.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And then when we are needing for them to mess, why wouldn't I take some time off? Why wouldn't I and then better than ever is our time to enforce the rituals properly, these communications,
Mm.
to show them then even if they are gone, we will be okay.
Yeah.
The dogs are dying forever because they don't want to leave us alone. They don't want to leave us because they think we cannot live without them.
Yeah.
So we
Mm.
need to ensure them, yeah, if your time come, if
Mm.
this is your time, leave, go.
Mm.
We'll meet again if and when my time comes.
Mm.
My time is not yet. If it's your time, just go. I'll be okay. With
Yeah.
only those two sentences, I helped thousands of people overcome those last moments of their lives. Because the part of what we teach in a pure love and harmony, it's not only when everything is beautiful and happy and we live better.
Mm.
Occasionally this journey of life has its own end. And pure love
Yeah.
and harmony has its own approach to those final parts of the life, in
Mm.
which the humans need to also create a platform in
Mm.
which the dog would rest in peace and go in peace, because they would say, okay, now I can really leave you because I understand you can take care of yourself. And
Yeah.
then they just fell asleep overnight, or it's kind of like you wake up one morning and they're not there. And
Mm.
oftentimes the people would write back like, I was angry at you, I didn't know how all of this is turned out, I just trusted you, and now I'm so glad that
Mm.
I didn't kill them.
Mm.
If you kind of like can bring it's euthanasia, just to have a nicer word for the killing.
Mm.
It actually is merciful killing, because I don't want them to suffer. And I'm not strong enough to actually suffer by watching their suffering. And
Yeah.
from that experience, we both grow. We both grow.
Mm.
And that's again why all of this has to do with the topic of the pure love and harmony formula, is because that's the most important question to answer. Is
Mm.
my dog, who is the dog? Does the dog my has a consciousness? And does my dog has a soul? If
Mm.
it has a soul, then it has a purpose of life. If there is a purpose of life, there is destiny. The destiny is much more than I think I did, I would. The destiny is our relationship. The destiny is the way the relationship unfolds. The destiny is the beginning and the end. And it's
Yeah.
not on me, neither to
Mm.
judge it, neither to try to explain it, because it's to the little human brain completely uh, not understandable. Neither we can comprehend the
Yeah.
the 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 value and the beauty of all of that.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
pure love and harmony is actually the story of the life, and the life in dignity that gives a foundation to the dignified death,
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
can say
Mhm.
that.
And do you think like somebody else is like so much deep into this, like beside what you are doing right now, is somebody else is doing specifically this?
If this is heard by anyone that has anything to, to comment on this, not as of my understanding. I was trying
Mm.
to, trying to get myself surrounded and try to find the people to, try to, I don't think so yet.
Mm.
But I think it's very important to start talking about this, right? And I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think so that we always all need to have the same opinion about that. But I think discussion is very important, and opening the dialogue on the questions no one asked before can lead to the answers. I don't say
Mm.
that the pure love and harmony has all the answers, but at least we are
Talking
with all
about
my
it. Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Mm.
Yes, we are like digging at the places
Mm.
that no
Mm.
one is digging now. And I
Mm.
think also once you know what your dog needs, and that's maybe I don't want to go into a conspiracy theory, but it's just an outcome. I think like entire pet care industry is too much baby centric, too much
Yeah.
human baby centric.
Mm. Mm.
This toy, that toy, this food, this leash, this, that, and everyone
Yeah.
is, doing the best out from there, either because of the investors or because their possibilities and research. But everyone is trying to do their best, right?
Mm.
But the problem, the outcome is that
Mm.
the number of the shelters are packed. Like 4 million dogs are abandoned in U.S. alone a year. And out of those dogs, like 1 million dogs going to be euthanized every year because there is no, they're claimed like a red flag, and there are no rehome possibilities because their aggression or the diseases they developed are overcoming the possibilities of them to be rehomed. And I think all of that is a responsibility of us in a pet care space
Yeah.
to equip the people and owners with the right knowledge, the right tools as a products and services in
Mm.
order for that not to happen.
Yeah.
And as full shelters are not an outcome of the irresponsible ownership, is an outcome of irresponsible industry that is giving to the people what they want to buy so we can make more money instead
Yeah.
of what they need
Mm.
to fulfill this relationship. And more we make of you baby with your dog, more money you're going to spend
Yeah.
on the coat, on the colors, on the things you don't need to build this relationship, to work on this relationship, to
Mm.
to
Mm.
to make this relationship thrive. And
Mm.
you never know in those 16 years when it's going to come that question that say, I just can't handle this anymore.
Mm. Mm.
And then the next thing you know, you try to ask your two friends, do you want my dog? I can't handle it anymore. The friends say, I'm sorry, I already have a dog, or I can't. The next door is, to take him to a shelter and hoping they're going to be rehomed. And I think responsibility of that is on us. The responsibility of that is the people that are owners of the dog. They want their dogs to be happy, healthy, and to thrive with them. And then
Mm.
if we equip them with the right knowledge and tools, they will thrive.
Mm.
But if we give them to buy and possibilities to choose, because this is kind of a free world. I offered you,
Yeah.
you need to buy it, or it's kind of like make your own decisions.
Yeah.
But I think like if we, as we do, overwhelm people with the information,
Mm.
with the all different. I'm talking this. Someone else will tell, oh, he doesn't have what the heck is he talking about? This is not true. This is not. Take a dog to a trainer. Take a dog here. Take a dog there. It's kind
Mm.
of like take a dog to a vet, to a specialist, to do this, to do that, and on the end, we're gonna see the outcome of that. What's the outcome? Number of the dog in the shelter increases every year. So it's
Mm.
somewhere something is wrong.
Yeah.
It's very hard work, but I wake up every day to this wonderful journey, and I wake up and all my team is doing the same. And
Mm.
Thank you so much for recognizing that and inviting me to a podcast to share this little
Definitely, definitely, Sasha.
work with
Uh,
you.
and like, what do you think? Like, what are some key signs that owner can look for to understand like their pet's emotional state better?
Um, so there is a webpage of ours,
Mm-hmm.
my myplh.com. So that's PLH Institute. That's a place in which our research that we do on a lot of levels are published.
Mm-hmm.
And also, um, for to understand like this emotional entanglement with the dog, only what you need is a self-reflection. That's the best science that you can have. Unfortunately, what we are talking about is just a cornerstone of, is a forefront
Mm-hmm.
of the science that need to evolve around. Like what we are talking about is something that we take a very big proud of. We research on this. We surround ourselves, for example, on a lot of levels. But there is one significant scientist that talks about so-called morphic resonance,
Okay.
Dr. Rupert Sheldrake.
Mm-hmm.
He's a biologist, and he's talking about this morphic resonance, the field that actually combines us, and combines is around every single group. And there is a morphic field of the animals and morphic field of humans, and then how those morphic fields interact is what we are talking about. And then he's talking about, and his research was a foundation to my thinking about morphic fields. And morphic fields are within themselves organized by the rules of the orders of love. Because and then you can find another scientist on that talks about that. His name is Bert Hellinger.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about a family constellation therapy and family constellation science, if you can call it like that. Talks about family entanglement and trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we combine those things, those two things are fundamentals and the essence of the development of orders of harmony. What you can learn about my webpage that's dedicated to that part of my work,
Yeah.
called orderofharmony.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn about that. And I wrote a book. I'm actually finishing the book called Interconnected. It's kind of like
Okay.
how do we interact with the world around us,
Mm-hmm.
how the fields of the same species interact within different species. So there is one rule that combines humans, and there is a reason why the humans are able to talk and feel and do things there. We might speak different language,
Yeah.
have a little different color or things like that, but in overall, feeling sadness, feel shame, guilt, and all kind of those things are common to every one of us. And then there is another species like a dogs and hyenas and anything else, and you have a field that connects all of them. And now
Mm-hmm.
my scientific research at the moment goes in about providing orders of harmony as a field that connects fields that are not of the same species, and then what are those laws and how do we interact, by to understand another one that doesn't talk or look like we us
Yeah.
without projecting. That's the most important thing,
Yeah.
because soon we start projecting, it's a formula for disaster. I need
Mm-hmm.
to know, literally, if I want to please you like a person, like you did to me, for example, this interview, I was really pleased when I saw the list of your questions.
Mm-hmm.
I felt seen and welcome to your show and understood, and it gave me such a boost of, kind of like, how can I say, respect from your end, because you did your time, right? You did your
Yeah.
time, and then you looked, who am I, and how can you host me at your show, and what can you ask me, and how can you lead me through this, to extract from me everything that your audience would love
Yeah.
to. But you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do that if you wouldn't give that time of respect and understanding who is your guest at the
Yeah.
show. And
Mm.
then and that's something you didn't project it, because as a good journalist you cannot project your last guest to a new one, right? You have probably a next guest after me, and now you get out yourself from this mindset and offer the same things to someone else that
Yeah.
can maybe talk completely different things that I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that what we need more to this world. This
Mm.
understanding of differences, understanding that we don't need to have a same view, but we can still respect each other and love each other and interact in a very harmonious and lovable way, rather
Mm.
than fighting around like what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah, yeah, love it, love it, love it. Talking more about the entrepreneurship and like starting a pet brand. Like starting a pet brand in the pet industry is definitely daunting. So, like, what advice would you give to someone who wants to take the leap of faith, who wants to get into this industry? Let's say specifically in your industry, dog training and education.
Just would be it's probably gonna sound like just don't be afraid to dream.
Mm,
Really don't be afraid, because every single one, if you have this entrepreneurial mindset,
mm,
one idea is, they would say, okay, go out there, see what the people need, create that, and go out there and sell them what they want to buy. That's how
mm,
you make money.
mm,
But first, what I think here to understand is, before you do that, just be sure that the people are not going to pay the price with their dog just because they are not informed that maybe what you want to sell them and they want to buy, they don't actually need.
mm.
Because if we go out there to make money, we
Yeah.
might end up packing more shelters, because every single pet entrepreneurial person has a more responsibility than anyone else in the world when it comes to abandoning the dogs. Because
Mm,
maybe my product will make me rich, and that's why I chose this, because it's very easy to be rich in the market that everyone is confused. And if you have a great marketing tactic, if you follow all the how you rotate the brain of the client, you can get them to buy. The question becomes like, how much is a price that they need to pay for using your products or service, and will that contribute or help
mm,
prevent
mm.
uh, dogs to be abandoned? So what
Yeah.
I always love to, I know that every one of us is coming to this world to serve. Be sure that you know who are you serving, because
Mm,
when we are in this world, we are not serving actually the people owning an animal. We are serving the destiny of that animal as well.
yeah.
And before you come up with and then look for the problem. The real problem is that the people abandoning the dogs. That is how I looked around and I said, what am I doing? It's wrong. Everything I'm doing, it's wrong, because I don't want to talk about all of this that I know, because I'm afraid of being judged. Everyone gonna judge on this because doesn't make sense maybe yet. Really,
Yeah.
because maybe, as you said, like, who is doing that? I don't know, because I never find anyone doing this yet,
Mm, mm,
right?
mm.
So it's a completely blue ocean. And
Yeah.
that's what you want to ask yourself as an entrepreneur. Money will come. Money follows. Money follows the result and the outcome, because you don't know how your product actually impacted the life of the people. And what finally we can do, and we see often in this, people would come here for the money because it's easy money. The people you name the big corporation, they would have some part in the pet care for sure. The questions become like, how deep? Will you see them or not, right? Because this is a $500 billion industry and keeps growing exponentially, like more than 10 to 17% every year, right? Because the more people get lonely with this IE and everything that's happening with us, the
Yeah.
more people are going to need dogs.
For
But that's
companionship.
also
Mm.
that's also possibility for us to make a quantum leap in our self preservation, like a humans as a like a species, but also like a person, to learn about that my relationship with the dog can really impact my relationship with another people. Because if I learn that the dog is not another people, it's not me, it's not my mom, my husband, my want to have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or my want to have child or don't want to have a child, and it's not their destiny to fulfill that gap,
Yeah.
but they can help us
Mm,
become much more aware,
mm,
because have much more empathy towards creatures and others that doesn't look, feel, and think like we do.
Mm.
And occasionally it can lead to a better world because we might end up stop fighting with every single one that doesn't look or think like we.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very big responsibility on everyone thinking about entering the pet care, because oftentimes you will see brands come in making a big impact. I mean,
Yeah.
making a lot of money
Yeah.
and then disappear.
Mm.
And disappear because you study, you serve very specific target. Know your target audience. Know their struggles, not
Mm.
their wants. Not they want. The wants will bring you fast money. But also that money comes and goes. You don't know how you're going to spend. The destiny and karma have a different way, because if we impact someone, either purposefully or unpurposefully, just because we didn't know that our product or service will benefit, will help them, instead of strengthening the bond with the dog, letting dogs go to shelter without even maybe be directly impacted, by indirectly impact, we
Mm.
have on that dog
Mm-hmm.
relation, we won't
Mm.
be able to enjoy that money anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
One way or
Yeah.
another, we're going to end up losing the money. But
Mm.
if you really fulfill the need of the
Mm.
dog and
Yeah.
understand this, what every single one, every single thing that we were talking about in this podcast, I outlined that what are the biggest struggles of human dog interaction, and there is to look for the new ideas and new opportunities and new skills and new knowledge and new ways of telling the knowledge and the new products, because that's what we do in Pure Love and Harmony. We have one shampoo, one conditioner, one supplement of this, one supplement of that, one everything of everything, but the high end that I study a lot, surround myself with the best minds in the world that can help me in that niche create the one. And
Mm.
then the people don't need to think anymore, because it's not easy to go into the pet shop. You go into the pet shop and you have all of this everything. How do
Mm.
you
You're
choose this
overwhelmed.
against that?
Yeah. Mm.
Right?
Mm.
And then the confused people are going just after the cheapest. So even if I spend money, it's not a lot. And you're going to see or the most expensive one, even if this is, and you have majorities in between. But you can always, you cannot make cheap product that someone else cannot make cheaper. And then also, if you want to compete with the people on the market just with the price, without value, actually,
Yeah.
it's going to be
Mm.
exposed, and then the people turn angry at you sooner or later. So do your homework. Do
Mm.
your homework. When you want to come and invest in a pet space, do the homework. Go beyond transcend the box.
Yeah.
Transcend the box.
Mm.
Observe, see, research, think, learn,
Mm.
and then you will spark. The idea will sparkle. Oftentimes when I'm having these questions unanswered, and I'm asking questions myself and trying to read the books and talk to the people, things like that, the answer just doesn't come. And at one, you will just wake up in the middle of the night and you will got an answer. What's the best friend of mine next to my sleeping my bed is my notebook with a pen.
Yeah.
Just not to get awakened without possibility to write down something in the middle of the sleep and go get back to the sleep. And then in the morning I say, oh my God, that's what I was looking for. But
Uh,
it's kind of like, in order for you to get yourself in that mindset,
mm.
you really need to be passionate about this.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to do your own research.
Yes.
Mm.
So
Definitely.
that's, I think, like that's kind of like a good. And
Mm.
then once you find that little golden like a stream, don't let it. Don't, no matter what, don't let it. Everything else, kind of like sacrifice your life for it, because maybe your responsibility is to solve the problem, and that's your destiny, and then you kind of everything else is on stake. And then if we do believe in the construct of the soul and the destiny and the purpose and everything,
Mm.
then if I do not if I do not I'm too scared to do my part, then how can you do your part? And now I'm impacting you because I didn't do my part. So that's kind of like the chain reaction is like tremendous. And then again, talking about payback,
Mm.
never think about the money. Never think about the money. Be respectful and responsible about the money, spending, investing, thinking about what you're going to do next, but never worry about where the next dollar going to come if you keep waking up to a right-minded purpose of solving the problem that will impact the human-dog relationship
Yeah.
for
Mm,
good and better.
mm, Love it. Love it. Uh, Talking like more about the innovation in the pet industry, your research provides a unique perspective, definitely. So like what do you think, like what upcoming trends in dog care are you like most excited about, or you seeing in the industry, okay, this new trend is coming in?
The holisticness must fit in.
Mm,
The holisticness must fit in, and we need to give up on this specialized this and that,
mm,
because it takes a lot of time. They are not in line and spends a lot of money. The people are spending a lot of money for nothing. So I think like holistic approach to everything should be, it's
mm,
coming to, and what holistic mean? All encompassing from a lot of angles, right? So what we need to do, we were very logical as of now, right? Logical. This is what we logically do. For example, if
mm,
we castrate and sterilize all the dogs in a planet, we won't have shelters full of dogs anymore, and that just didn't bring a right outcome. We still struggle with all of this. So logically, the outcome was not led. Logical things were not leading to a. You also remember maybe that part of the Indira Gandhi when she was sterilizing in India left and right, instead of 4 million people, what was a kind of like that was an idea, they sterilized 7 million peoples without impacting the outcome of what they aim to do with that. And somehow we still believe that by doing logical things, the nature gonna just react logically. It's not like that.
yeah.
So everyone that can turn holistically.
Mm,
Holistically means emotionally, and
mm,
emotionally mean intuitively. But for that, we need to leave logic aside, because
mm,
logical is the left side of the brain, and intuitive, holistic, and artistic part is in left side of the brain. So we need to learn to work a little more with this, to trust our gut, to
mm,
trust self more. But then the people without self-confidence can't do that,
mm,
right? And then that's what we are missing. We miss more self-reflection. We miss more selfness. And from
mm.
that selfness, the unique perspective and outcome will come from me, mine, from you, yours. And then when we combine, it's the people and dogs going to benefit in this world.
Yeah.
So I think like all of the specialized things to specialize solutions of the problem
Mm,
need to give up, and
mm,
they need to we also have that part of the company. It's actually a business solution that actually helps entrepreneurs and other people that want to create a product or service, bring them up to this, calculate the level of how much impact they're going to have on industry based on the pure love and harmony formula, holisticness, right? So if you
yeah.
have, I want to have this, then we are actually seeing, is that tool for the nutrition, communication, or the code care? And if
Mm,
so, how this impacts other two?
mm.
And from there, we are very easy able to calculate the impact. It's called
Wow.
impact score of your products, future, whatever you are trying to put on the market. We
Mm-hmm.
call it impact score. And then
Mm,
we evaluated the levels of the impact, and then we can tell you with precision, will your product or service or idea benefit or worsen the industry based on the standards we developed? And according to this holisticness at the moment, I don't think so everyone else can guide you on that path. So I
mm,
think like, because even if you are putting out the shampoo, or you are putting out the toy, or you are putting out the new food,
mm,
it has
mm,
its impacts on other two parts of the formula, and
mm,
it has impacts on how it can benefit. Sometimes we see a high benefit impact, sometimes it is high negative impact, because maybe if you see the toy only as a toy, but not as something that will impact overall interaction with the humans, and the
mm.
toy is not a beautiful toy, the toy is a prey that evokes in the dog very
Yeah.
deeply hidden
Yeah.
prey
Mm,
instinct,
mm,
that better keep calm if you don't want to deal with them when they arise.
mm,
So the toys usually have very deep negative impact to a human-dog interaction and
Mm,
relationship
mm.
if not used properly. So you
Yeah.
cannot just put out the toy. You need to put out entire course about the toy and how to use it and why. And now you are bringing it in the context of the holisticness,
Mm, yeah.
not just another beauty design with a different color.
Yeah. But like I think people, let's say somebody has a company who just makes specifically toys for dogs. But I don't think like they are thinking that deep, right? They are like, hey, I just want to sell, I just want to make a profit and just
Yes.
be with it, right?
Again, unfortunately, it's not just so easy because we are impacting the dogs and the shelters across the globe.
Mm,
And as I said, like it must be a profitable business, but with a big karma on the back.
mm, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
never know how the God will come back and ask us to pay that.
Mm, definitely.
And it's completely different. The level of responsibility is a little different if you are aware of or if you are not aware of. So I don't want to say that that's why I'm trying to talk about so much about everything
Mm,
of this. So I try to
mm.
get my message as much as I can
Yeah.
out there in order to make people more conscious about this.
Mm,
Right, and then responsibility is raising on the deeper level. We cannot say anymore I didn't know.
yeah.
Now you say I no, it's he's stupid, he doesn't know what he talks about,
Mm,
because maybe just I provoked, I maybe just, as you said, like there is an amazing business, toys, they are selling toys, they never talk about their actual impact on the dog's human relationship. If they listen to this podcast, now they can ignore what the actual impact is.
mm,
And why it's good. I'm not saying them to stop producing toys. I'm saying put them in a context,
yeah.
put them in a holisticness. How do you actually contribute to the plus of the human dog relationship or in the minus? And we
Yeah.
had maybe 3 clients that approached us with the toys,
Uh-huh.
majority of the toys. All of them had like very big negative impact. The way their campaigns were structured, the targeted clients, everything has very, very good for the business, but negative impact to the dog's human relationship.
Right.
And it's nothing wrong. Once you learn about that, I was able to, take them out and put them in a better context.
Mm,
It's not only just give them this toy. Now those toys become expensive, but
mm,
also they come with the education. Education can be free or can be paid, but it's the differentiation of the market, that its toy is not anymore just a toy. It's a prey that must be used in the context. Otherwise, you're on the path of having a dog that might bite someone or protect someone, or not because they want to do it, because we told them to do it.
yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Talking more about, like reflecting on your career, like what has been the most rewarding part of your journey with Pure Love and Harmony?
The path on its own, the journey, the mornings, right when you wake up to a solution to a solution to a problem that you was thinking doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
How we do this, together with my husband, I always have this idea how we communicate this, how do we get out from, oftentimes this is like we have like oftentimes the biggest problem is how the groomer is a trainer and the nutritionist. That doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
And I oftentimes with the people that I oftentimes communicate, the trainers, they call themselves trainers. I say, and when we talk about the train, they all see me as a trainer. No, I'm pet care expert, where the trainer is just one part of it.
Yeah.
And just the mindset of that. Oh, but now how the trainer would become a nutritionist and the coat care expert, and why would they do that? Because what they want to do is just train the dog to come when you call him. But it's not the point. Again, a lot of them also had a went through this evaluation impact score. A lot of training companies has very negative impact to a canine dog human relationship, because
Mm,
what they teach is the dogs to obey. And if you teach the dog to obey and dog listen, that doesn't necessarily mean that the dog doesn't suffer within, because
mm,
oftentimes dog that obeys is going to be zombied, right? You kill the spirit of the dog, he going to
mm.
listen everything you tell him to do. He's gonna sit, he's gonna come, he's gonna wag his tail, he's gonna look happy. But when you look inside the dog, when you do, we have again, like, it's a lot. The Pure Love and Harmony is so big, like a company. It's a lot of strength that we are pulling in and out in order to do like a, and then to do the research in order to have this unique protocols, because every client that comes to us has their own protocol in
Yeah.
the nutrition, in this, in that. For example, if you are a vegetarian, there is no
Mm.
need for your dog to eat meat. Completely no need for that. And you
Mm.
are able to put together the diet for the dog that's completely vegan or vegetarian.
Mm.
You have it. We had a study in India. You have a people that they're not touching the meat with the religious purposes, and they still have a dog that they live within. You think they are feeding that dog with the meat?
Mm.
No, they're feeding that dog with a very specific vegetarian and vegan diets, and it's
Yeah.
possible. But
Mm.
that's where we are. It's and there is. That's why the Pure Love and Harmony formula is very customizable. Not very customizable. It must be customizable, because the reason why your dog is behaving like your dog is, and why we cannot have that this one formula fit all, is
Mm.
because me and you are not the same people, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
And then the needs of your dogs are coming out from who you are, what you need. For example, what you eat. If
Mm.
I don't eat chicken, or if I don't eat meat, why would my dog eat meat? Then that's a burden of the dog if he does get something the owner don't, because you wouldn't go out and buy a meat for yourself, but you're still buying it for your dog.
Yeah.
Now that's a burden for the dog that want to follow the owner as it is, and
Mm.
that's a burden on the dog. How?
Yeah.
And that's what are the dog's question? Which kind of leader you are? That
Mm.
you are not able to make a responsible choice for me too, as well, for you. Now
Mm.
we have this movement, like, for example, the vegetarian people don't eat meat because this industrial farming of the animals. But then I feed my dog with the meat. So now it's okay to kill the cow for the dogs of the food, for the
Mm.
food of the dogs, but it's not okay to eat the milk. And now I'm, protesting, and this PETA and
Yeah.
everything, like, I'm killing the people because they are eating the meat because
Mm.
of the slaughterhouses.
Mm.
But then slaughtering the animal and for example, the how you say, this dairy industry,
Dairy.
boys, in the dairy industry, you can do nothing with a little calf that is a boy, because it's not a type of the cow that you can feed, because there is no muscle, there is no meat, there is nothing. They're produced just to have milk. So if they are produced to have a milk, and they are just they can just use the female cows, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens to the babies of the male? They get slaughtered the day where they are born. Where do they go? Into the food of the dogs. That I said I don't want to, and now I'm not drinking the milk,
Yeah.
because I
Mm.
don't want to support the dairy industry. But the
Yeah.
only way to get the cheap food for dogs is to slaughter the 1 day old calf that is a male, that is also made on a dairy farm. Otherwise, the
Mm.
food for the dogs would be like much more expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
that is where we are lacking discipline. And then they say, like, either you are eating meat or you are not eating meat. But if you are not eating meat, then I'm
Mm.
not eating meat either.
Mm-hmm.
We did that study in the Hyderabad as well. There is a lot of villages, like
Yeah.
that they're like, just they don't eat meat. There is no butcher house there. So what the dogs are eating, they're scavenging on you have there a lot of farmers market, the
Yeah. Yeah.
vegetables and the fruits and
Mm.
everything.
Yeah.
And because of the high temperatures, also
Yeah.
high
Uh-huh.
how you call that, when is
Humidity.
the wetness, humidity is very high,
Yeah.
so that fruit and veggies are rotting very fast. So whatever they
Mm.
sell through the market is sold through the market. Whatever
Mm.
is not sold to the market is dumped
Eaten
on the
by the dog.
dumpster next to
Yeah.
the market. At the night, you see the dogs scavenging
Mm.
on the fruit and the veggies.
Yeah.
And those dogs are not migrating 10 miles away to the next village that has a butcher house,
Yeah.
right? Why would they stay here?
Uh,
And those are free animals. You just kind of
yeah.
feral dogs that are living a life on the vegetarian food.
Mm.
because they accepted this environment in which vegetarianism is just a normal way of living, and it is. So that's
Mm.
how much the dogs are adaptable. And when we
Mm.
say a species, I was telling about the nutrition, I was telling about the species specific diet.
Mm.
And that's a specific diet for the dog. Species specific diet for the dog is not a wolf food, it's a human leftovers.
Yeah.
Whatever the family has a leftover. So when we do, for example, my students or my instructors or consultants, or we do for example, you hire us to do the formula, and
Yeah.
now there is a place to do your nutrition part for your dog.
Mm.
First is what you eat. Do you like chicken? Do you like rabbit? Do you like this? Would you eat that? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So we are making a menu for your dog
Mm.
of what is to expected to be a leftover from your meals.
No.
So it's kind of like, I'm a vegetarian, my husband eats not, but so our dog eats meat,
Yeah.
but he doesn't eat poultry, so our dog doesn't get poultry.
Yeah.
Not because it's better or it's worse, no, because there is no way that the poultry leftovers would be found in our house.
Mm. Lovely. Amazing. And yeah, talking more about the, if somebody's a pet care professional and they want to learn about this, are there any like resources, books, or courses you would recommend for aspiring pet care professionals who want to learn about this?
So there is a so the I did you just open the door to me to promote the Pure Love and
Yeah,
Harmony
yeah,
courses, or
definitely. Yep.
yeah, because I think like
Exactly.
our courses are very comprehensive, and they all start, no matter what part of what's interest you have,
Mm,
they all land to answering the question, who is a dog. So
mm,
what we do here is actually, either if even if you are entrepreneur wanting to get into the pet space, or you're
yeah.
having something that you are kind of like doing, and you want to check your impact score, is it positive or
Mm,
negative, and how high positive, how high negative, then you will be going through the same course and same program that has an aim to answer the question, who is a dog, to understand the needs of that dog, and to put your products and services into a context.
yeah.
So we offer a lot of coaching to a pet entrepreneurs in order to help them positive or negative impact at the moment, or if they want to develop something new, to develop it in a positive scale. And
Mm,
everything starts with the evolution of the dog, etiology, communication, nutrition, and code care. Because if you want to serve this industry, you need to come from the perspective of holistic approach.
mm,
From every single angle, you need to know, and then the sparkle. Because we cannot come up with a product or service without having an information, without being conscious about something, right?
yeah,
If that's
yeah.
not in our consciousness, we won't be able to have a conscious solution to it, right? If
Mhm.
you don't know that, you remember there is an interesting story when they said, when Columbo approached India, when he came across and came to a Caribbean island,
Yeah.
he was there for 5 years, for 5 days, without people, like indigenous people, noticing the ships on the shore. The
Yeah.
ships were there. The
Uh-huh.
people were moving left and right. They didn't saw them because they didn't have an experience of seeing them.
Uh,
Right? It's there, but you don't see it. And
yeah.
then just later on, when these shamans, or how you call them, the tribes, uh, uh, witches, or whoever was they were like, they would say, oh, it will come the big something that looks like a tree, it's gonna be having a people on it, and they will be, and then when they gave them a conscious awareness about possibilities, the next morning they saw them, oh my god, it's there, right? So that's
Mm,
how it's important for us to know the dogs, to
hmm.
know the humans owning the dogs, so we
Yeah.
will be able to come in and solve the real problems they have. And I wouldn't, we didn't stop,
Hmm.
because we approached investors, we worked with the people, they just didn't got it. And I didn't stop moving forward, baby
Hmm.
steps, as much as I could,
Yeah.
until it didn't took off. I didn't push back because it was hard. because I knew I'm doing the right way. And I told you,
Yeah.
what's the most rewarding? It's not the money that comes within.
Mm-hmm.
It's every single morning. That's a journey of how do you spend this day doing what? Recording this, recording that, doing that, going there, talking to this guy, trying to find more possibilities to get the message out, and then to inspire more people to come and join the program. Or
Yeah.
yeah, so sashariess.com or pureloveandharmony.com,
Mm-hmm.
myplh.com,
Mm-hmm.
orderofharmony.com. Those are all sources that are giving you a lot of things to explore about the human dog relationship. And then I expect like accept like a mentorship to entrepreneurs that are in the process of developing the product.
Yeah.
In the We saved much more money in the people developing the products and doing this impact factor that we turn out to going to be very negative, and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to cost a lot to bring it up at least to the zero or a little bit in a positivity.
Yeah.
And they said like, you are right, it's not my cup of tea. I was thinking to invest money here because I had the money, and I know now that by doing that I'm going to lose more money because I wouldn't be able to stand the front of this
Yeah.
product. And also the once you know, you're having so this mentorship to the entrepreneurs, that you have the products and you struggle, you don't know how to get out, you don't know why you are not getting out, or even if it's going well, how you
Mm.
can make it better impact,
More impact.
especially
Yeah.
when it's going bad,
Mm.
especially when it's going great.
Mm.
That those the clients that are also can be doing a negative impact to a market and human dog relationship,
Mm.
unconsciously contributing to more dogs being
Mm.
abandoned to a shelters.
Mm-hmm. And as a final note, Sasha, what excites you the most about the future of human-dog interaction?
The world I see without shelters.
Yeah.
The world I see in my world, pure love and harmony world, shelters does not exist. The people thrive with their dogs entire life from the puppyhood till the old age. They
Mm.
respect an animal for who the animal is for. They
Mm.
see the dog with the eye for the dog. And I see that world is much better world,
Mm-hmm.
because if I can see that in a dog and I can transform my perception to the world so it fits someone else's level of consciousness,
Yeah.
that makes me a better person towards fellow humans. So the dogs are a very crucial learning curve to man and to mankind and the humankind in general. We just need to use them as a tool to learn, not to teach them anything, because what we need the dogs for is to learn from them. So that excites me. If we would be able to bring that together and to become a better people in a process, this world would look completely different as it
Mm.
is for now.
Love it, love it, love it. That's it. Makes us the end of the conversation. Insightful conversation. Like I had so many podcasts before this, but like this is the most deep. Like I never really thought like that way that you talked about in this podcast. It's mind blowing, really.
Um, Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you so
time.
much for your kind words and for your invitation, and for very much giving me the platform with the right questions
Mm-hmm.
that to lay. And I hope I was able to present a pure love and harmony to you and your viewers. And I look forward to see what future brings to us.
Definitely, definitely. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you found today's episode valuable, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with fellow pet lovers. And I will leave all the links in the description below if you want to check out Pure Love and Harmony. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the podcast.